The German Shepherd kept herding the baby away from the same corner of the living room. For 8 days, everyone told them it was a dominance display. They were all wrong. It looked, the first time, like play. Astrid was 8 months old and had recently acquired the ability to move across a floor with impressive speed and precisely zero regard for where she was going. She was the kind of baby who crawled with her head slightly down, focused on the destination and not the path, and had already navigated herself into several corners and under one coffee table with cheerful indifference to the outcome. Their German Shepherd, 7-year-old Sasha, had been watching this new mobile phase with the concentrated attention of an animal who has decided that something has changed in the household hierarchy and requires monitoring. On a Tuesday morning, Astrid crawled toward the corner near the fireplace. This was not a new route. She had been in that corner before. There was a fabric bin of toys there that she understood to be worth the journey. Sasha moved to the corner first. She stood in front of the toy bin with her body across the path and looked at Astrid. Astrid sat back on her heels and looked at Sasha. Sasha looked at the corner, not at Astrid. At the corner, Astrid tried to go around. Sasha stepped with her. Astrid sat down and cried in the particular frustrated way of a baby who has encountered an obstacle she has not yet developed the conceptual framework to negotiate. Petra, Astrid's mother, moved Sasha away, got Astrid to the toy bin, retrieved a stacking cup, and thought nothing further of it. It happened again the next morning, and the morning after that. By day 5, Petra mentioned it to her mother, who said, "She's asserting dominance over the baby. You need to correct that." Petra's sister said, "She's jealous of the baby's attention to that corner." A colleague said, "German Shepherd's herd. She thinks the baby is livestock." These explanations had the satisfying quality of fitting a template. Petra accepted them provisionally. She began redirecting Sasha away from the corner each time it happened. Sasha complied with the redirect. Then she went back to the corner. On day 8, Petra's husband, Gregor, came home from a work trip and heard the full account. He sat with it for a moment. He said, "What's in the corner? Subscribe now." Because what Gregor found when he moved the toy bin and pressed his hand to the baseboard is something that an HVAC technician later confirmed had been developing for approximately 3 weeks, and something that was concentrated at floor level, where Astrid had been crawling, in a room where she spent most of her waking hours. There was a smell, faint, musty, specific, not the smell of the bin, not the smell of old toys, something behind them. He pressed his palm to the baseboard. It was soft. The baseboard was soft. He pressed harder, and his thumb left a depression in the painted wood that did not spring back. The HVAC technician they called the next morning confirmed a slow water intrusion from a pipe in the crawl space below the floor. A condensation drain from the HVAC system that had been weeping minimally for an estimated 3 to 4 weeks. The moisture had wicked upward through the subfloor into the baseboard cavity. In that confined space, behind a toy bin that blocked airflow, a mold colony had taken root. The technician said, at floor level, in a corner with restricted airflow, the concentration of spores and off-gassing compounds would be measurably higher than at adult breathing height. A crawling infant is operating in a significantly more concentrated exposure zone than a standing adult in the same room. He looked at the corner where Sasha had been standing for 8 days. He said, "How long has the dog been avoiding this spot?" 8 days, Gregor told him. The technician nodded. "They know before we do. I've seen this more than once." "Has your dog ever repeatedly steered your baby away from a specific area of your home? Tell us in the comments. These stories deserve to be heard." The mold was remediated. The pipe was repaired. The baseboard was replaced. The toy bin was moved to a different wall. Astrid did not develop any identifiable respiratory symptoms during the 8 days, which the technician attributed to the early detection stage of the colony, and Sasha's success rate at keeping the baby at a redirection distance from the corner. If you stay for stories about what animals sense before we do, you're in the right place. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Petra thinks about the 8 days, about her mother and her sister and her colleague, all with a different explanation for the same behavior, all of them fitting the behavior to a template they already had. About Gregor's single question, "What's in the corner?" Sasha does not go to that corner now. The thing she was reading there is gone. She sleeps in the center of the living room, in the good position, in the place she had always picked before any of this started. Every guardian deserves to be recognized, even the ones who never asked for anything in return. If stories like this matter to you, subscribe so you never miss the next one. Astrid is 10 months old. She crawls with the same headed-down velocity in every direction, and has now added the ability to pull up on the couch, the coffee table, and Sasha's back without Sasha registering any complaint at all. The corner near the fireplace is clean. Astrid goes there freely now. Sasha watches from the center of the room and does not follow. The post is clear. Next, a golden retriever who started pawing at the baby monitor every night for a week, and what the pediatrician said was happening while everyone slept.